The Democrats and the fake news media want to constantly talk about, oh, President Trump is a convicted felon.
He is a convicted felon.
Donald Trump has now been convicted of 34 different felony crimes.
But keep going, Marge.
Well, you want to know something? The man that I worship is also a convicted felon. And he was murdered on a Roman cross.
Okay, this is not hard. Jesus was not a felon. Jesus did not have sex with a porn star while his third wife was home taking care of their baby, then pay the porn star to keep things quiet, and then falsify business records. Jesus did not get indicted and tried for fraud, and Jesus was not convicted by a jury of his peers. So comparing Donald Trump to Jesus is insane. Also, Ted Bundy, Al Capone, John Dillinger, Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, and John Wayne Gacy were all convicted felons. And none of those individuals was like Jesus. Social media is having a field day, of course, with Marjorie Taylor Greene over all of this. The real Thelma Johnson, few people know this, but Jesus' attorney was also Todd Blanche. Margarita, the dude she worships, hates the other dude she worships. See this guy? F*** him. Blue in Texas wrote, Mount Greenie, bleached blonde, bad-built butch body, leave me out of your bull. For the record, Donald Trump's speech came on a Sunday, so clearly Marjorie Taylor Greene skipped church to spew her blasphemy. And this is not the first time Greene has compared Donald Trump to Jesus Christ. On the day Donald Trump was indicted in New York, Greene compared Trump to a few revered historical figures.
President Trump is joining some of the most incredible people in history being arrested today. Nelson Mandela was arrested, served time in prison. Jesus was arrested and murdered by the Roman government. There have been many people throughout history that have been arrested and persecuted by radical, corrupt governments.
Greene clearly knows all about radical corruption. She seems to live it, as was on display recently when Marjorie Taylor Greene attempted to character assassinate Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Mr. Fauci, because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
At the House Oversight Committee, Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to suspend reality.
No, I don't need your answer. I want to talk about this right here.
Mr. Chairman,
Fauci,
objection.
Mr. Chairman, objection. I reclaim my time. In my time, that man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked, and he belongs in prison.
Would suspend. The gentlelady should recognize the doctor as a doctor.
Democrat Jamie Raskin then criticized Greene while apologizing to Dr. Fauci.
I want to join my colleague from Florida in apologizing to you that some of our colleagues in the United States House of Representatives seem to want to drag your name through the mud. They're treating you, Dr. Fauci, like a convicted felon. Actually, you probably wish they were treating you like a convicted felon. They treat convicted felons with love and admiration. Some of them blindly worship convicted felons.
Greene then stormed out of the hearing room and erupted at a reporter in the hallway.
We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. He is a convicted felon. Well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the country over George Floyd, and Raskin is in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God. And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bull annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats. So that's what we just went through in there. And then they're sitting there, they can attack my character all day long. What's his face in there? Whoever was talking last was calling me insane, but yet we can't say, oh, they're attacking my character. Oh no, it's nonstop BS and antics.
Nonstop BS and antics, says Greene, the same person who favorably compared Donald Trump to Jesus Christ. And by the way, that raises a question. Has Marjorie Taylor Greene ever rubbed Jesus's crotch?
Stayed up in there in the mucky swamp. Diane always has them in the mucky swamp. Yeah. But it's amazing.
Ah, yes, the Trump cult is amazing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene cannot seem to get enough of Donald Trump, even though Trump clearly has his limits with her.
As somebody who'd be a great running mate for Donald Trump, I just wonder what you do with that.
Well, you know what? I think if he asked me, I would definitely give that some strong consideration.
For over a year, it's been more than just consideration.
According to NBC News exclusive reporting, the controversial Georgia Congresswoman is setting her sights on just that, a presidential ticket, hoping to team up with former President Donald Trump as his VP in 2024.
Former Trump aide Steve Bannon, who spoke to Greene, told NBC News she sees herself on the short list for Trump's VP. And yet Greene has reportedly fallen short of the short list. According to Politico, Trump's team has officially requested documents from North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Senators J.D. Vance of Ohio and Marco Rubio of Florida, as ABC News scooped, Senators Tim Scott of South Carolina and Tom Cotton of Arkansas, Representative Elise Stefanik of New York and Byron Donalds of Florida, and former HUD Secretary Ben Carson have also received inquiries. Missing from that list is Marjorie Taylor Greene. The snub is especially humiliating for Greene given how publicly she has promoted Trump.
President Trump is the people's choice. He's the one that we elected in 2016. We reelected him in 2020, and we will elect him in 2024.
Because, Donald Trump, a convicted felon, is just like Jesus Christ. For those of you keeping score at home, Marjorie Taylor Greene has now gone 5 weeks in a row where she has trended on social media for doing or saying something really stupid. In the wake of Trump's criminal conviction, Marge proposed defunding the state of New York.
And I think the American people have turned a corner after they watched that conviction come down in New York to the point where it's like, you know what? Screw New York. New York doesn't deserve a damn penny. We shouldn't fund them one single dime, not a dime.
The only way Congress could defund New York is to stop collecting taxes from New York. Clearly, Greene does not know this. Also, New York contributes more in taxes to the federal treasury than it gets back in federal government spending and support. So cutting off New York, as Greene suggests, would squeeze other states, including hers.
They convicted President Trump of 34 fake felony charges. Oh, no. The state of New York is the one that carries on and continues crime and violence and corruption. They don't deserve a penny from the federal government.
Actually, all the data shows that violent crime has dropped in New York to its lowest level in decades. Now, there is a silver lining for everybody who does get convicted of felony charges in New York and everywhere else, because according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, you convicted felons are comparable to Jesus Christ. Lord, have mercy. By the way, another staunch Trump supporter in Congress, Lauren Boebert, recently got roasted by the visit of a famous rapper. I'd still love you if you flipped burgers at Burger King, 50 Cent. I used to do that myself. Thanks for the photo. Great to meet you. The reaction on social media erupted. Laugh my f***ing off. Even 50 Cent is telling you he's got his date for tonight. Lauren, please don't jerk off 50 Cent. The ridicule of Boebert might have died down, except that 50 Cent then weighed in and added fuel to the fire. Wait, guys, I took pictures with everyone and all you seem to care about is Lauren, what she did in a dark theater that hasn't been done. My God. Hey, I don't have chlamydia, by the way. LOL. Was the rapper insisting that Boebert does have chlamydia, a sexually transmitted disease, and because he does not, there could not have been a sexual rendezvous? Either way, check out the video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular was from Robert Sally, who wrote, "Forever endeared in history as the Beetlejuice lady in Congress." Lady is being generous. Just saying. I look forward to reading your comments about Marjorie Taylor Greene going full cringe and comparing Donald Trump to Jesus. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.